In the heart of bustling Metroville, amidst the tall buildings and busy streets, there stood a quaint house on Maple Street. This was the home of Tom the cat and Jerry the mouse, an unlikely pair whose antics had amused and entertained generations. Tom, with his sleek fur and mischievous grin, and Jerry, with his quick wit and a knack for escapades, had created a legacy of laughter and chaos that spanned decades. On a bright morning, the sun's rays streamed through the window of Tom and Jerry's cozy home. Tom stretched lazily, his tail swaying back and forth. Jerry, always the early riser, was already awake, sipping a drop of milk and planning his day's mischief. As the clock struck 7, the familiar routine began. Tom padded into the kitchen, his eyes gleaming with intent. A loaf of bread sat innocently on the counter, waiting to be toasted. Jerry, peeking from behind a corner, saw an opportunity. Swiftly, he dashed towards the counter, but just as his tiny paws touched the edge, Tom's paw descended. The two locked eyes for a moment, each daring the other to make the first move. Then, with a burst of speed, Jerry darted under the toaster, squeezing through a tiny gap just as Tom's paw crashed down, causing the toaster to spring to life with a pop. Jerry emerged unscathed, but the toast went flying, landing on Tom's face. As Jerry's laughter echoed through the room, Tom sputtered, his fur covered in crumbs. But the chase was on, a familiar melody of paws, crashes, and the clattering of furniture. The chase led them through the house, leaving a trail of chaos in its wake. Eventually, Tom's attempt to trap Jerry under a laundry basket failed spectacularly, leaving the basket on Tom's head instead. They paused, panting, amidst the overturned furniture and scattered objects. Tom blinked sheepishly from under the basket, and Jerry erupted into laughter again, unable to contain himself. The laughter was infectious, and soon both of them were sharing in the joy of the moment, forgetting their rivalry for a brief while. Days turned into weeks, and their antics continued. But one day, something extraordinary happened. While exploring the attic, Tom stumbled upon a dusty old bookshelf. Behind a stack of ancient books, he found a peculiar-looking contraption covered in cobwebs. It was a time machine, a creation from a bygone era. The machine was adorned with buttons, levers, and a large, ornate dial. As Tom examined it, a mischievous idea formed in his mind. What if he could use the time machine to finally outsmart Jerry? He shared his discovery with Jerry, who was intrigued by the machine's potential. Curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to give it a try. After a comical struggle to operate the machine, Tom and Jerry found themselves hurtling through time. The time machine's first stop was ancient Egypt. Tom and Jerry found themselves in a desert, surrounded by towering pyramids and bustling markets. They marveled at the sights, only to be chased by a bumbling group of mummy guards after accidentally knocking over a vendor's stall. Next, they were whisked away to the medieval era. Tom, dressed as a knight, and Jerry, as a jester, found themselves entangled in a jousting tournament. Their attempts to outwit each other amidst the clanging of swords and cheers of the crowd added a humorous twist to the medieval spectacle. As the time machine continued to transport them through various eras, Tom and Jerry's rivalry took on new forms. They became rival pirates searching for hidden treasure, rival inventors in the midst of a steam-powered revolution, and even rival painters causing chaos in an art gallery of a posh Victorian mansion. After countless adventures and hijinks, Tom and Jerry found themselves back in their own time, the time machine's journey seemingly at an end. As they stood in their familiar living room, a realization dawned upon them. Throughout their travels, despite their rivalry, they had stuck together and supported each other through every challenge. With a newfound perspective, they chuckled at the absurdity of it all. The time machine, which had been their vessel for chaos, had unintentionally revealed the bond that had formed between them over the years. They looked at each other, a shared understanding passing between them. As days turned into years, Tom and Jerry's antics continued, but with a twist. Their rivalry had evolved into a playful game, an enduring friendship that colored every chase and escapade. Their stories of time-traveling adventures became the stuff of legends, whispered by generations of animals who followed in their footsteps. Metroville's inhabitants watched with amusement as the duo's legacy unfolded. Parents shared tales of Tom and Jerry's antics with their children, and the laughter echoed through the years. The old house on Maple Street stood as a monument to their enduring friendship and the timeless joy they had brought to the world. And so, the tale of Tom and Jerry, the cat and mouse whose rivalry transformed into an unbreakable bond, became a story that transcended time itself. Through their laughter and escapades, they taught the world that even the most unexpected friendships could weather the trials of time and continue to inspire joy for generations to come.